Do you recognize any of these faces? Imagine you're in this meetup or party event and you find yourself face to face with one of them. Did that happen to me? No. And honestly, it's unlikely to happen to you either. These guys are unreachable, untouchable these days. A more realistic scenario, just life. If you're a tech entrepreneur, knowing who these guys are is kind of like common culture. An investor or maybe a fellow founder will maybe name drop them, and yeah, you have to know who they are. This is a photo by Fortune magazine on an article that coined the nickname, the PayPal Mafia. In a certain way, they control Silicon Valley. If you're building a company, or rather, if your company reaches massive scale, chances are you are going to come across and have to deal and negotiate and have an investment from one of them. This man is Peter Thiel. According to the article, The Dawn, he is the best known investor in the Bay Area. He co-founded Palantir, the first investor on Facebook, enough to earn him a scene in the actual Social Network movie. Thiel is a controversial figure, no doubt, being an open Trump donor and supporter, and he's one of the few outspoken Republicans in this very liberal tech startup world. That's all I have to say about politics, by the way. This is Max Levchin. He's known as the Consigliere. Honestly, where do they get this stuff? He was relentless in developing technology to prevent fraud, such as the actual CAPTCHA. He was involved in the early test versions. We sort of owe him the whole fire hydrant thing. This is Jawed Karim, and if you're watching this video, it's thanks to him. He's one of the co-founders of YouTube. The first video ever on YouTube was Karim at the zoo. This is Jeremy Stoppelman, one of the co-founders of Yelp and still the company's CEO. Russell Simmons is also in this photo, another Yelp co-founder and the former CTO. These two guys are Luke Nosek and Kenny Howery. And along with Peter Thiel, they're the managing partners at the Founders Fund, a firm that has invested in Figma and Stripe, Compass, ZocDoc, Airbnb, Facebook, Spotify. Ring any bells? Among others, by the way. I'm not saying among others just because. Their investment list goes on and on and on. These are some of the most important tech companies in the world. This guy is Reid Hoffman. He co-founded LinkedIn. You might have heard of that. He's also invested in Facebook, Flickr, and joined the Microsoft board in 2017. This guy is Roelof Botha, a partner at Sequoia Capital. These guys are investors in Uber, and Apple, Airbnb, Robinhood, Nvidia, DoorDash. And what connects all these men? They were all early PayPal founders or employees. And the list doesn't end there, of course. His calendar was already too busy to make it to the photo, but the most well-known member character of this gang is no other than Elon Musk. He built this electric car company, made a lot of people a lot of money because its stock grew like 700% last year. You might have to thank him in a few years for putting a man on Mars. There's also Yishan Wang, who was the CEO of Reddit from late 2011 to 2014. Then Steve Chen and Chad Hurley, the other YouTube co-founders. I mean, what happened here? What secret sauce made this group the most relevant tech investors and entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley? There isn't a secret sauce. It's all pretty clear if you dive deep into the story of PayPal and the type of people that the founders like to recruit. Let's look into that. Let's look today into the origins of the PayPal Mafia. Alright, so some quick stats about PayPal today. There are 377 million users, a total of $15.4 billion in payments through the platform. What I would call this is a necessary evil. I've had my fair share of not so great PayPal experiences. For example, if you want to buy stuff on eBay, you sort of have to use PayPal. It's not a slick interface. It's not the best customer support. It's like this fraudster favorite platform. But say what you will about PayPal, chances are you have a PayPal account. And market reach is even bigger in Europe and in countries like Germany. It was Peter Thiel, Max Levchin, and Luke Nosek that started this company in 1998. And the company was originally called Confinity. And it was gonna focus on the world of digital payments. That's what they said at the beginning. This is 1998. This is the true beginnings of e-commerce. The few small online businesses that existed had nothing close to a good platform for online transactions. And, well, they founded the company, they experimented with a few solutions, and the one idea that stuck with them was this payment system that was called PayPal, that would allow users to transfer money digitally, which would become the golden ticket, the path to their success. In March 2000, Confinity merged with an online bank called X.com, and they took their name. And this bank was founded by none other than Elon Musk, who was brought in as CEO of the whole conglomerate. And Elon Musk's coming was trouble. But hold on a sec. So far, this sounds like the story of this regular startup. It's not so different from any other company forensics stories we've done. Why was PayPal different? What did they do differently? Why was everybody so successful in the end? It relates to one of the reasons why Elon Musk didn't have an easy landing on PayPal: company culture. Now, company culture is this marvelous thing. It's one thing that founders don't necessarily pay too much attention to. As of shooting this video, our team at Slidebean is 33 people across 2 countries. And culture for us is everything. It ranges from choosing whether we micromanage or not, to deciding if we have food or beer at the office. We treasure culture. It comes from the founders and our experience starting the company, but it's reinforced by the managers every day. It defines who we hire. It defines how we work. It defines our schedules. And it defines everybody's responsibilities. It's what makes your company unique in the end. It's what people remember about your company when they leave. It's the opportunity they have to sort of paint the path for the company. The point is, who you hire defines your company. And in case of PayPal, it defined so much more in the future. For example, Thiel despised meetings. Rumors say he often walked into a random meeting that he saw happening in the office, and he forced them to break it if he didn't feel the discussion deserved an in-person meeting. Now, Thiel had a firm belief in the value of the hiring process. He said that, "I wanted to build a company where everybody would be really great friends, and no matter what happened with the company, the friendships would survive." That's what he told Tech Republic. Now, he reiterated that he not only hired his friends, but possible friends as well. Many of those friends who ended up working at PayPal came from his earliest days at Stanford University. Levchin, for example, was no different. He hired plenty of classmates from his college days in Chicago. So it pays to make buddies at college, right? And perhaps that's the primary value of higher education. I think it's one of the main reasons why you should go to college. The 2 co-founders didn't want jocks or MBAs. They didn't want consultants, for that matter. And this belief even extends to today. Thiel founded a fellowship, which is a 2-year program for young people who want to build new things. That comes from their website. It says, Thiel fellows skip or drop out of college to receive a $100,000 grant and support from the Thiel Foundation's network of founders, investors, and scientists. Essentially, these guys pay you $100,000 to drop out of college. Another PayPal example, they didn't hire anybody who played basketball. Levchin told CNN, "Because everybody I knew in college who liked to play hoops was an idiot." This is a quote, by the way. Now, other practices that are famous. They wanted to hire people who live and breathe numbers and who speak multiple languages.
I'm gonna speak Italian tonight.
He let everybody from managers to grunts see all the data, including traffic, revenue, burn rate. This is a quote from them, by the way. They wanted to make decisions based on facts and arguments, not on experience, which again is so far so good. But some other practices were more complex. They only wanted to recruit people from the Midwest. One of the objectives was to foster a competitive, hyper-masculine work environment without jocks. They said it was better to compete on the ping pong table instead of the basketball court. Whatever that means. They forced out anybody who disagreed with their values. And if you leave, you have to stay in touch with the inner circle, and you should invest in their startups. This created a complicated culture in PayPal. In his interview for the Fortune article, Elon Musk called the culture an intellectual pissing contest. Apparently, some disagreements translated into wrestling matches in the early days of the company. This very much Mafia environment was, of course, not very welcoming towards women. Fortune mentioned a case of a female engineer who wasn't good at ping pong, so they almost passed on hiring her because she lacked competitive fire. I'm quoting that. You can also judge by the number of women in that Mafia picture. Many of the X.com employees that came with Musk after the merger, they left soon. The problem with Elon Musk wasn't only cultural. Elon did want to make some significant changes in the software, in the structure of the product, and this made everything harder for him. In the fall of 2000, while Elon Musk was on his way to Australia for apparently the first vacation he had taken in years, Thiel orchestrated a coup with the board, and they got him fired. And this didn't stop PayPal by any means. In 2001, the company had 10.2 million users. By February 2002, 4 years after the initial idea, and just months after renaming itself finally as PayPal, the company went public. In this IPO, the company's stock went from $13 to a closing value of $20 on the first day of trading. Now, PayPal is a dot-com survivor, no doubt, and if you haven't watched our video on the dot-com bubble, go watch it as well. Finally, in July 2002, eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion. All of the early employees walked out millionaires. And after the acquisition, many of them quit eBay just because of compatibility problems with the eBay culture.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
I mean, so what happened? Why is this PayPal Mafia so successful today? Why PayPal? An obvious question here is, do these guys run Silicon Valley like a mafia? No, the truth is they don't. But they're extremely relevant investors and entrepreneurs, and if you kind of want to belong in the Valley, you sort of have to understand who they are. The chances are you'll be connecting with them in your entrepreneurial journey. But by that measure, we are a part of the Mafia as well. We are a 500 Startups company. 500 Startups was founded by Dave McClure, and one of the reasons he's famous is because he's an ex-PayPal. So he's part of the Mafia, I guess. Not famous enough to be included in the photo, but that makes us part of the Mafia. And I think that's a bit of the point. If you are a tech company, you're inevitably gonna come across some of these guys. The point of all this is that the magic combination these guys had in their hands. The group's attitude has drawn heavy criticism. It laid the grounds for a white, male, under-50 domination of Silicon Valley. Yes, it works for this demographic. And some have criticized the lack of opportunity for women and people of diverse races and different backgrounds. Experts believe it's now hard to change this behavior within the Valley, thanks mainly to the Mafia's strong influence and their track of success. We can't deny that the PayPal Mafia has changed how we see the tech world, how people outside the tech world see it, especially Silicon Valley, for better or worse. And while many want to emulate this culture and this philosophy, it's not that easy. Experience with a successful startup from the earliest stage, experience with acquisitions, highly technical and analytical people, a very competitive mindset, a network of other people like them who are well connected in the Valley, and last but not least, money. What better combination of attributes do you want for a successful person in the startup world or in the Bay Area? This is a group of people who have an incredible, truly incredible mix of variables to position themselves to be successful in the startup world, either to start these companies or to invest in them. That's the power of having a network. We've talked about this many times, and also the power of money. Will Schroeder, one of my favorite CEOs out there, has this cool podcast episode on how to sell your company and how selling your company, even if it's for a small amount, can truly change your life. For someone like me, who doesn't come from money, and for most founders at that, imagine getting $500,000 when you're 32. You pay out your debt, you pay out your mortgage, and you create a bucket of money that you can use to invest. You certainly have to keep a day job, but suddenly, it's not so crazy to quit that day job and start a new company because you have savings. Not everybody has access to that flexibility, and the people who do have the opportunity to start more companies. They have something to fall back on. Suddenly, it's not crazy to be willing to spend a year without a salary because you can. You can start a new idea. And if you're smart and you're connected, that idea has a much better chance of succeeding. The PayPal Mafia got themselves a head start. A head start all of us entrepreneurs dream to have. And I think that that's why they are who they are today.